Ruthie.
And I'm Hammer. Where do we start?
We have been traveling for 6 to 7 months so far, and we document a lot of our travels on YouTube through both like daily vlogs and like summary videos and stuff like that. But a lot of our friends and even strangers online have reached out to us to ask us some questions about what it's like to travel full time, how we got to this point, what we enjoy, and all these things. So, although we answer a lot of those questions ahead of time and like to those people, I think it's just really helpful for anyone looking online who's interested in this type of lifestyle, what they could expect. Yeah.
There's a lot to expect, and what we figured was we would just put out a poll on Instagram and take all of those questions, collect all of them, and answer all of them in this one YouTube video. It's been a long time coming, and we've been extremely busy with the places that we've been to, but being that we've been in the Philippines now for almost a month, we have found some time to make this video. So, welcome to it. Let's start with our names. I'm Hammer.
I'm Ruthie.
And together we're Two Get Outside, two people traveling the world for 2 years on a tight budget.
Let's get started.
All right, let's get started. I wrote down all the questions on my phone, so bear with me as I read them. Kind of illiterate, not really, but maybe.
I believe in you.
You believe in me? Okay. All right, first question. I'll say the questions and then we'll see like who wants to answer them. Maybe both of us, who knows. Which country gave you the most runs?
Oh, that's the worst first question. Okay, I would say probably Morocco. I think Morocco gave me the most runs. There's a dish there called tagine, which is like their famous dish, and everyone's super proud of it. And it is really nice to have the first time, but like because everybody makes it and everyone's super proud of it, you end up eating it a lot.
You eat it every day.
And I don't know if it was just like one particular tagine that I had or if it was just tagine altogether, but it didn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
I think that's what did it to me.
She was sick for like a month after that, all the time in Egypt and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know, for me.
But Greek food made it better. As soon as I started eating Greek food, my system just loved it. So thanks for the Greeks.
There was one place that I was sick. I don't remember. Do you remember?
In Bali, you got a little bit sick.
Oh, yes. Yeah. In Bali, the food there, it's because I had seafood. I think the biggest thing is like having seafood while you're traveling. It, like, depending on the place that you're going to, definitely be careful with the seafood in general. So we try to stick to like a vegetarian diet if we're going to a place that we know we can't necessarily trust the meat or the seafood. So there was a piece of shrimp, and I know which one in particular got me. It was like one of the first days in Bali. I was puking so much. It was bad.
That's so gross.
All right, on to the next question.
Okay, the rest won't be this gross. I'm really sorry, guys.
That's very gross.
Okay, so the next one is, do you miss New Jersey at all? And for anyone who doesn't know, we're from New Jersey. We tell people we're from New York because it's just easier, I think, when we're traveling, but we're from New Jersey.
Yeah, we were raised in New Jersey, so that's the place that we call home.
So do we miss it? Do you want to answer that first or should I?
I miss bagels, pizza, friends, and family.
I miss, in no particular order.
No particular order, for sure.
I miss friends and family the most, and I miss the food a lot. And I think just overall, like the familiarity of everything.
Ruthie misses the comfort. She talks about that a lot.
Yeah, well, the comfort. I think it's just the comfort of being familiar with everything, because like knowing the roads and like knowing the people, everything that you expect, the good and the bad. It's like you just miss home, you know?
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting to. I really thought that I was like gonna be like, oh, you know, I can leave home for forever and I won't miss it. But I did. I probably like 3 months in, I was like, oh my God, I miss home. Yeah,
for me it was like, as soon as we got to Southeast Asia, it's like 4 months in. All right, the next one's actually the same as the last one. And it is, do you get homesick? So we just answered that. Moving on to the next one. Do you get tired of the clothes you packed, and do you shop? Ruthie can answer that.
Are you sure? Do you want to? You definitely do.
Yeah, I definitely get tired of the clothes that I packed. I would be shopping a lot more had I, like, if we were traveling while working, definitely would be shopping a lot more and getting a lot more clothes in each country. There's a lot that I want, especially like going to Turkey, for example. I was like, I want all these rugs, or I want this shirt, or I want this pair of pants. And there's so many things that I do want, but at the same time, I feel like less stress having a lot less to think about and not have to think about like what I'm gonna wear and what I'm gonna pack and everything.
Yeah, like day to day, I'm like, damn, I'm wearing the same things all the time, and it's so annoying. And like sometimes, like it just gets really tiring wearing the same thing, but at the same time, like we don't have any space to buy anything else. So I think altogether, we each have bought maybe like 3 or 4 different articles of clothing along the way, and then we've also dropped a few articles of clothing, so we've pretty much netted 0. But for the most part, our outfits have been the same since day one. So.
Yeah, honestly, I've gotten used to it, and it's made me understand like what I actually really need. And then you take a step back to, like, when you have a tight wardrobe and you're like, okay, this is exactly like what I could bring. And we'll do a whole video about like what we packed later on, because a lot of people have been asking that. But when you have a tight wardrobe and you're like, this is what I packed, you begin to think about each article of clothing and really think about like, is this worth it? Like, am I actually gonna be wearing this, or am I bringing this and not gonna wear it? You know, because each piece of clothing adds another like part to your bag and adds more weight to your bag in general. And there's so many luggage fees that we have to incur. So I think it's been better to deal with less. And I started out with more clothes actually, and I've gotten rid of a lot more, and I would like to get rid of more as well. But I also have bought clothes depending on what I've realized like I needed along the way.
And it gets us excited for once we finally do settle down, because then we're like, oh man, like when we settle down, like I'm gonna get a nice coat, like one that actually lasts, you know, stuff like that. So that's nice.
Next question, Ruthie, you want to read it?
The next question is, how often do you sleep versus explore? Is this a restful or a restless trip?
You go ahead.
Okay, I feel like we have a pretty good balance of sleeping and like exploring, and even for every country we go to, like some we get a little bit more exhausted than others, but I think that right now we have the luxury of time. So in any given country that we go to, it's not like we have to be like, oh, we only have 3 days here and 2 days here. Like we get to plan it in a way where we plan in like rest days. So I don't know, I feel like, you know, sometimes I'm very tired, sometimes I feel like I slept too much, but overall we have a good balance, I think.
I think it was a lot more restless in Europe and the more expensive countries.
Yeah.
So we can't afford to take more time in those countries, and we have to like zip through them. And that makes it a lot harder, so you have a lot less time to pack in a lot more stuff to do. So waking up at sunrise and staying out until well past sunset is what we did in Europe, and it was tough, but it was great at the same time because we really got to take it all in. But now that we're in Southeast Asia and the cheaper countries, we spend a lot more time in, so we can spread everything out and we have a lot more rest days.
And the rest days are really nice because it helps us to like think more so that we can like better plan the rest of our trip.
All right, where do you find necessities? Shampoo, body wash, deodorant, etc.
Okay, I feel like it's always like, it's one of those unknown things where, especially countries that you don't know so much about, like Southeast Asia, where you're like, oh my God, where am I gonna find things? And for the most part, like the general stuff, like there's convenience stores and they have brands that you're used to in the United States pretty much everywhere. Like at a minimum, they'll have like one brand that you know, even if you don't like it. So you can't be picky with what you get. But in general, all the basic necessities they have. I know for me, like I have some more like specific facial things that I need. So like for acne medication and for like moisturizer and stuff. And honestly, I just brought a 2-year supply with me of that kind of stuff. And luckily, it's been lasting pretty good. And then there are some countries where like they'll have literally anything you need. Like
Singapore.
I was just gonna say, Singapore had everything and more that I need. So you kind of have to, like, once you get to a country where you see all the products that you really want, it's kind of, that's where you make more, like, your bigger expenses on those types of things.
I think that's more of a question for Ruthie. It's been pretty easy for me to get stuff, just deodorant, and then we get body wash, shampoo, and conditioner together. So it's not that bad. The hardest thing for me, I would say, is getting haircuts. In every country, it's really hard. Like honestly, like finding a barber and making sure that they're clean, and it's just like it's really, really difficult. In some countries, it's like, yes, I found like a barber shop. I'm gonna go there all the time, like for the time that I'm here, you know. But right now, I haven't gotten a haircut in about a month, so it's getting to that point.
A lot of the negative stories we have of travel are around like him or getting a haircut, because like I don't know why, it's just like difficult for men to get haircuts and they have to so frequently.
Yeah.
Whereas I haven't gotten a single haircut since we left.
So haircuts, just make sure you know how to deal with it. Growing out your hair.
Yeah.
All right, next question is, how much do you anticipate spending in these 2 years? We'll save that one for last because everyone asks us that question.
Yeah.
How do you plan where you're going and what to do there? I will let Ruthie answer this because she does all our planning.
Oh my God, it's such a, like, I feel like I could talk for hours about this, but essentially there's like two main methods when you're traveling the world, and it's either you can plan everything in advance or you could just get there and decide what you want to do. And I originally, like, Europe is a plan in advance type of place. Like a lot of the first world countries that you're going to visit, the more expensive ones, you have to plan in advance. And the cheaper ones, you're really supposed to, from what everyone says, like just get there and see what happens. And we've tried that in a lot of places. And I really don't like it. I wanted to like it, but I just love knowing in advance like what I'm gonna do, because then I can get excited about it, and then we know how much money we're gonna spend. It's a lot easier to budget that way. So pretty much what we do is we look at blogs, we look at what friends have done if we know that they've gone to certain countries, and we write a whole list of the things that we definitely want to do when we go to a country, and then a whole list of things that like hopefully we can do. Yeah. And then we just see what matches our budget for that country, and then we do it. We book whatever we need to in advance, and and it's all easy online. So
yeah, I mean, we keep a really, really tight budget, so we write down every expense, like down to water, parking, food, like anything that we buy, we write down right away. And we look at the budget literally on a daily basis. So planning planning ahead of time allows us to understand how much we will spend in a certain country, and it really, really helps us to get the most out of a country. I think that before, like being like, yeah, let's go with the flow, it was fun. It was fun, but not knowing what to expect, and we really did miss out on a lot of stuff. It just made it more nerve-wracking than planning it ahead of time.
Like Bali, for example, we were like, oh, let's just get there and figure out what we want to do when we get there. And we had a ton of fun in Bali. We got to do a lot of relaxation, but then there was also a lot of things that we probably could have done that we didn't get a chance to do because we didn't think about it or plan about it in advance.
Yeah, we were just like, let's get there and figure it out. But I mean, we still had a great time, so regardless, it's you give and take. What is your least favorite mode of transportation?
I don't know.
I think for me, it's buses. Yeah. I have gotten, for whatever reason, I always end up sitting next to a woman that throws up on like a very long bus ride, and it's always happened to me, like always, and they're right next to me. And it's the most disgusting thing. So after that, I'm just like, I hate long bus rides. Train rides are great. We've even done sleeper trains. They're great as well. Yeah. It's not so bad.
I didn't love it though.
I think buses, they were the worst for me.
Yeah, buses are probably my least favorite, just because they do take a long time. They're super bumpy, so it's not comfortable. You can't sleep on them, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, they're super cheap. So.
Yeah.
And they don't hurt the environment as much as the airplanes.
Yeah. Moving on to the next one. That throw up, man. It really got me.
It's disgusting.
All right. What's your favorite place that you've been to?
Oh! Are we going to have the same one?
Mine is really hard. It's like, I love Egypt.
Yeah.
I think Egypt is my favorite place.
Yeah.
Ruthie's is Athens.
Okay, yeah, mine is Athens. Now I feel bad that I didn't choose Egypt.
Well,
because
I love Athens as well.
And I love everybody in Egypt, and I love Egypt. But I think it was just so hot, and we were doing Ramadan, so I wasn't drinking, and drinking water, and so I need to. I'm excited to go back, so I could just drink water and be really energetic. We're going back to
We're going
Egypt.
back in a month. Yeah.
But I love Greece.
Greece was awesome.
Greece has a special place in my heart.
We're going back to Greece when we have money.
Yeah.
100%.
I just love Greece.
What are you most excited for in this trip? That's the last question. Oh no, there's one more question, but.
Okay. Right now, besides Egypt, because I'm like super excited to go back to Egypt, but besides that, yesterday I would have said I'm most excited about visiting New Zealand. New Zealand is a place I've wanted to go to since I was like 8. Like whenever I saw the first Lord of the Rings movie, I was like, New Zealand?
Lord of
like
the Rings is so
that's
good.
Lord of the Rings is filmed in New Zealand, and I was like, oh my god, I want to go to New Zealand. It looks so cool. It's like an island right next to Australia, and people sound Australian, but like they'll get mad at you if you say that. And the nature there is just so beautiful. So we planned a road trip there. We're going in February, and I'm so excited.
I think for me, New Zealand is one of my top, but it would have to be Nepal and Everest Base Camp. I have been dreaming of that forever. Just being able to do that is going to be incredible. So I'm really excited to go to Nepal and to hike to Everest Base Camp and just figuring that out. I think it's going to be one of the hardest yet most rewarding things that we've ever done, for sure.
I agree.
So I'm excited for that. All right. The last question, and probably the most anticipated one for every single person, is... Oh wow. How much do you anticipate spending in these 2 years?
Yeah, and like how do you afford to travel? We've gotten that so many times.
So many times. Everyone asks us
this. So I feel like giving our own personal number is a good thing and a bad thing, because there's plenty of people out there who just genuinely want to know because they want to plan a similar type of trip, and there's also plenty of people out there who don't have good intentions. And so I think rather than making this question about us specifically, is just making it about travel in general. And so if you're a super budget traveler, you can 100% do what we're doing for less than $20,000 a year, US, per person. And that's super budget. So if you wanna, if you're gonna stay in hostel dorm rooms, and if you're going to make sure that you spend a lot more time in cheap countries and expensive ones, and not necessarily spend a lot of money on expensive excursions, but just pretty much experience the country as a local, 100% you could do it for less than $20,000 per year. And then if you want, pretty much the more luxurious you want it to be, the more expensive it'll be. So you could spend $40,000 or $50,000 a year for something that's like a lot more luxurious and doing a lot of activities. We're personally a lot closer to the $20,000 a year per person mark.
Budget.
We're super budget, and so it's really up to whatever your own preferences are. If you want to do a trip for 2 years, then you can do it for less than $20,000 a year, but you have to be really good at budgeting. You have to sacrifice some of the things that you want to do just for making sure that you can continue along for a number of years. And if you save up a ton and you want to just travel for 3 months, but go all out for 3 months, then you can obviously spend a lot more doing something like that, and and do a lot more excursions, and take first class flights, things like that.
I mean, I've had friends who've done 3-month trips to Europe and they've spent $6,000. So it just depends on how you travel and what your level of comfort, what you expect your level of comfort to be. So it all depends on that. For us, I mean, we prioritize travel. We really gave up a lot before we wanted to travel. We decided we wanted to do this, and we worked really hard in order to make this happen. So we never bought really expensive things. We weren't really into that lifestyle, although it would have made our life a lot easier in America. We decided to live in a neighborhood that isn't very good. Nice. It's not as nice, and in an apartment that's not the nicest, but that all allowed us to save a lot more money in order to travel. And we were very budget, and the reason for that is because Ruthie's an actuary and she's incredible with numbers, so thanks to her for us being able to save this much money. But when you prioritize travel and begin to think about each bit of spending that you do, and understand that a pair of Nikes for $120 can cover several days, maybe even a week in Southeast Asia, and put it in that, you take that perspective to it, you begin to really understand how far your dollar can go and hold on to that a lot more. I'm very excited for this trip, and I'm very excited for what's to come. We have cut out so much because we've realized honestly we do want to do it in a more luxurious fashion for some things like Patagonia, where we know we want to do a lot more excursions, and we want to go back to that when we have money and when we are making money. So there have been many sacrifices that we've made along the way, and we're also going to a lot more cheaper countries. So it's pinpointing that specific number is entirely up to you, and understanding what it is that you're comfortable with. you can make it very cheap or you can make it very expensive. And there's so many resources out there to do it. And if you guys are interested in doing that, like, you feel free to reach out to us via Instagram, YouTube, like whatever it is that is easier for you, just reach out to us and we're happy to answer any questions that you guys have.
Yep, Hammer's right. It's all about just prioritizing travel, and everybody does it in a different way. Other people that you'll see on social media, they travel without spending money from their savings because they work while they're on the road. And we specifically chose not to do that because we wanted to just be able to enjoy this time. So that's why we each worked 5+ years after university to be able to save up as much money as we could together. And just use that nest egg for travel instead of for
buying a house like a responsible thing.
Yeah, things like that. And so it's like you're gonna sacrifice things if you want to do something like this. But if you think it's worth it, then that's how you do it. You save money or you work while you travel, and that's the easy answer, I guess, for anyone who's looking to do something like this.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, is that it?
I think that's it.
Yeah. All right.
If you have any other questions, please comment them below and we'll answer it to the best of our ability.
We're gonna do another video where we break down everything that we brought with us on this full 2-year journey. We have a lot coming up, and we'll definitely do another Q&A maybe 4 or 5 months down the road where we have a lot more information to give you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this. See you guys later.
Bye.
We're gonna enjoy the beach and the Philippines and the sunset now. Peace.